What is going on, everybody? It is Tech Gio, and today we're going to be giving you 13 tips on how to prepare for your tech sales interview. Once you get the interview, I'm going to help you pass it so you can land that tech sales job. And if you're ready, let's get right into it. Tip number one when it comes to preparing for your tech sales interview is literally going to be to understand the job you're applying for. Now, this is a fundamental, and the fundamentals are the most important. So literally look at the job description, because you already may know what an SDR is, but is it an outbound SDR? Is it an inbound SDR? What are some of the qualities they're looking for in that job description? So literally take that job description, see what they are looking for, and maybe even share some of the same values that you have that they are looking for. So maybe someone with a great work ethic, you can always mention that, but literally just study the job description and know what you're applying for and really use that to your advantage when it comes to the tech sales interview. Now, tip number two on how to prepare for your tech sales interview. This is a complete game changer, and this is a mandatory thing that you must do. And you're literally going to research the company, and if you want, this is a bonus, the interviewer. So it is very important that you are doing research on the company, right? When was the company started? That's basics, right? How many employees are in the company? Where are they located? What is their product? What is their service? These are things that you need to know, because you can't apply for a company and then go to an interview and don't even know what the company is about, right? So do your research on the company, and if you were to go above and beyond, right, research the interviewer, right? How long have they been in the company? What is their role at the company? Maybe do some research on their activity on their LinkedIn page and see what they're posting about, and really, look at their about page or about section on their LinkedIn profile. What do they like to do? Do they like to read books? Do they like to go on walks? Do they have a dog? Do they love pets? Do they like traveling? So do research on not only the company, but also the interviewer if possible. That's tip number two. Tip number three on how to prepare for a tech sales interview is to show up early. I would say a minimum 5 minutes early. If you want to do 10 minutes, you totally can, but I think 5 minutes early is completely fine. Usually they don't start the interview until, on the dot, or maybe a minute or two after. So if you're 5 minutes early, clicked on that Zoom, that's totally fine. But I would say 10 minutes, at least be at a desk or prepared for that interview. Make sure you're on time, okay? Don't be on time, be early. That's very important. It's going to show that you have great priorities and that you take this very seriously, because showing up on time is a great first time impression for a interviewer and you as the interviewee. Tip number four on how to prepare for a tech sales interview is to dress professionally. This is a game changer. Although we are doing interviews remotely, you need to still dress professionally, because it is an interview and first time impressions are very important. So me, literally, I bought button-up dress shirts at Express. I went to the mall, I went shopping. I even bought some dress pants I didn't even wear. And then also like a few polo shirts that have the collar that has like 2 buttons as well. So get some dress shirts. I'm not saying you need to go ahead and get a full-on tuxedo with a tie or a bow tie. You don't need to go to that extent, but just have a nice dress shirt or a collared shirt. It's really going to help you stand out and show that you take this seriously. And so I would highly recommend just dressing professionally, not even just your shirt, but just your appearance, right? Make sure your hair is good or whatever. Make sure you just look presentable. That's really going to help you when it comes to getting that job. Wait. Before we get on to the next tip, I want to tell you guys the best way to break into tech sales and the fastest way. And the fastest way to break into tech sales is literally doing a boot camp called Course Careers. Now, Course Careers is a tech sales boot camp that literally teaches you everything you need to know from A to Z on how to break into tech sales and land your first SDR/BDR job. And better yet, it is self-paced. So if you're working full-time, you can do it part-time. If you don't have a job, you can do it full-time. So it's literally self-paced. I did it in 7 days. And this is the boot camp that I use to break into tech sales in 30 days. So if you're interested in getting into tech sales, I would highly recommend checking out Course Careers. It's going to be the first link in the description down below. And make sure to use the code GIO50. It's literally going to save you $50 off on Course Careers. Now let's get back to the video. All right, now the fifth tip on how to prepare for your tech sales interview is literally just to stay calm and confident, right? You need to stay calm and confident. And if you are shaking or moving or not having, you're looking around everywhere, you don't know what to say, totally fine. It happens. I've done it, but just do your best to stay calm and answer all the questions confidently, even if you don't know what you're talking about. Now, I'm not saying to lie or do anything unethical. Just literally be confident. Say whatever you're saying with your chest up, chin up, and literally just say what you mean. And that's going to really show through the camera. I've even had people tell me, like, you've had great eye contact in this interview. And another tip is you don't have to look directly at the camera. Just look straight or you can even look up, above the camera if you just need time to think, right? Or if you don't want to look at the screen, you just look up, but don't look to the side and, shake your head or do anything that shows you that you're not confident, because confidence is definitely key. So this is going to be the next tip. All right, y'all. Now the sixth tip is literally going to be to prepare for the most common asked interview questions. Literally, you can Google the top 10, top 20, top 50 most common asked interview questions and literally just study those. Inside Course Careers, it has interview questions that I use that were like demonstration questions, but this is something you can easily Google. Get those questions written down also with an answer to it. So if they ask you, why are you looking to get in tech sales? We don't have to think about it, straight through in the moment. You have it already written down and you already answered that question. So literally just find the most common interview questions, study those, and make sure you have an answer for it. Now, the seventh tip is literally going to be to ask questions. You need to be asking questions in your interview. It's very important. So people typically think the interview goes how, the interviewer is going to ask you questions and you answer. You need to also be asking questions to the interviewer, right? A few questions that I like to ask towards the end of the interview, you can always ask follow-up questions. They say, do you have a great work ethic? And say, yes, my work ethic is good because of this. Why is a great work ethic good for your company? Just ask follow-up questions. That's just an example I thought off the top of my head, but you can always ask follow-up questions to their questions. Another thing is, like, I like to ask interview questions at typically towards the end of the interview. When they ask, do you have any questions for me? I like to say, why do you like working for this company, right? What is a sales quota for this company? Why do SDRs want to be a part of this company? What is the growth potential within this company? Questions like that is really going to help you get through the interview and also help the interviewer understand that you are serious and that you came prepared. And so make sure you are asking questions inside the interview. All right, tip number 8 is going to be to be yourself. This is something that is so important. If you are getting interviews, let alone already scheduled for an interview, you are already a qualified candidate. You got to think about this. The company literally needs people. They are in search and in need of people within their company. And so if you're getting those interviews, you're there for a reason. And so number 1, maybe your resume looked good. Number 2, your LinkedIn looked good. Or number 3, you sent them a message in, LinkedIn through a connect or an email and you caught their attention. So as long as you are yourself and whatever you put on LinkedIn is who you are and it transfers to actually a live interview, you're going to be more than fine. So you don't have to pretend to be someone you're not. You don't have to change your personality. You don't have to say things that you haven't done. Just be yourself, and that's more than enough for these interviews. Tip number 9 is going to be to show enthusiasm, right? You need to be showing enthusiasm because you are excited for this opportunity. If you're not someone who's taking it seriously, that's going to really be transparent within the interview. So if you're just super excited, super enthusiastic, and you just show them that this is something you're really interested in, right? Because if you don't even show interest, it's really gonna, tell the interviewer like, hey, like, I think he's qualified, but he doesn't really seem like a good fit because of his lack of interest. So show enthusiasm, show that this is something you are trying to do, show them that you're dedicated in what you've been doing and to land in tech sales. This is gonna be a key tip when it comes to getting these interviews done. Tip number 10 on how to prepare for a tech sales interview is to highlight your accomplishments. Literally highlight your accomplishments. Some of the things that you've done in your previous careers that, maybe you got an award or something, or maybe you were the employee of the month. Literally highlight your accomplishments in your previous work field, or maybe you were just a great student, or maybe you had perfect attendance. Whatever the highlight you can be, always highlight your accomplishments. And better yet, use those accomplishments and translate some of those skills into the role that you're looking to apply for. So if you are even a waiter, literally communication is a skill. And not only is it just a skill, but it's a transferable skill that goes hand in hand right into tech sales. And this is going to be a complete game changer when it comes to breaking into tech sales and crushing this interviews. Tip number 11 is going to be to be honest. Look, you don't need to be someone you're not, and you don't need to lie. Lying in an interview is never good. It's a bad characteristic to have and a bad habit. And if you get that job and you said you've done something that you haven't done, that's awesome. Hey, you got the job, but you can also get fired and lose that job. And it's going to be even worse when you bring it up to your next interview on why you lost that job. And so never lie. And the fact, if you don't know an answer to the question that they gave you or asked you, literally just tell them, hey, I don't really know too much about that, but I'm willing to do more research to understand what it is and how it can help. Also tell them that you have a growth mindset, that you're always willing to learn, you take constructive criticism, and you're always looking for different ways to grow. This is going to be a complete game changer. So just make sure you're being honest and just be fully who you are. All right, now this is tip number 12, and this is a complete gem. Like if I had a gem right here, I'm handing it to you right now. When it comes to doing these interviews, it doesn't matter how good you've done in that interview, you need to do this. You need to close the interview. Now, what I mean by closing the interview is you're going to ask, hey, what are the next steps in this interview process? Is there any reason why we wouldn't move forward in this interview process? Hey, is there something that you saw in this interview that would not make me a good fit for this position? Those 3 questions right there, if you get anything from this video, those 3 questions will change the game for you. I've literally seen people lose tech sales jobs and offers because they didn't close the interview. Literally get them to schedule the interview with you on the call as you're on the call if possible, but definitely ask those questions. This is going to make sure not only do you secure that next interview, but it could be the question that literally secures you the job in tech sales. Last and final tip, tip number 13 on how to prepare for an interview. This is going to be another fire tip. When it comes to interviews, do not rely on one company. If you want a tech sales job, you need to be interviewing with multiple companies. Matter of fact, multiple companies, right? Not just one, but if you can get 4 companies you're interviewing with, even better. If you can get 10 interviews with different companies, even better. Always keep your options open and always have more than one offer so you don't have to make a decision or join a company that you don't want to. You know, there's going to be interviews that you're going to have with a company that you think you're great, but they're going to fall through and it's not going to work. And if you've been relying on that one company for the last 2 weeks, because these interviews are multiple step process interviews. So if you're on the 3rd week or 2nd week, you literally wasted 2 weeks and now you have to do the whole process over again with a different company. So even if one is going good, keep applying and get multiple companies in your pipeline. This is going to be the best tip that I can give you when it comes to interviews and how to prepare for a tech sales interview. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope this video dropped some super flames for you guys. Super helpful. A lot of gems in this video, and hopefully this video helps. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and drop it down in the comment section down below. I'm more than happy to help you guys out. And also hit that like button. It really helps the videos get pushed out into the algorithm so more people can watch it. So if you like the video, hit the like video and also hit the subscribe button. We're trying to grow this channel, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.